It's fall, and that means we're making beef stew. I'm starting with 2 pounds of chuck roast. Mine's already been cut. I'm just spreading it out so that when I salt it, it'll be more even. Add the salt of your choice, it doesn't matter, just don't oversalt your beef. This is the only salt going into this recipe, so keep that in mind. Wash and peel 3 carrots. I always wash and peel them because I think they taste like dirt otherwise. I'm also using a Rutabaga and a Parsnip in this recipe. They're not necessary, you might not even know what that is, and that's fine. Don't stress about finding one. They do add a lot of flavor and texture to your soup though. A Rutabaga kind of tastes like a spicy potato, and a Parsnip tastes like a spicy carrot. Again, peel them, wash them. I'm using 5 golden potatoes in this recipe, but literally use whatever potatoes you want. It doesn't matter, your soup's going to be delicious. Chop them however you see fit. If you like big chunks of potato, cut them big. If you like tiny, dice them. We're putting the cut potatoes in a bowl of cold water to keep the integrity of the potatoes so they don't turn brown. Next, we're peeling an onion. Use whatever onion you want. I would suggest not using a red onion, but it would probably taste fine. Chop them however you like them. If you don't really like the texture and flavor of onion, dice them tiny, but it's a sin to not put onion in a soup. If you like them big, cut big old chunks. Do whatever you want. It's your soup. Now we're taking a small bunch of celery, removing the bottoms and the leaves and chopping them up. This is the parsnip I was talking about before. Again, cut them however you want. If you like a really chunky soup, cut bigger chunks. Here's a Rutabaga that looks exactly like a potato, but it does not taste like a potato, at least not raw. Cooked, you probably can't tell the difference, but it'll burn your mouth if you take a bite of it like that. 3 carrots, remove the bottoms. I like to dice them in rounds like this because once the soup is cooked, they just look really beautiful. But if you don't care what your food looks like, then chop them up and throw them in without any care. That is totally right as well. I'm putting them in a container because my cutting board is not anywhere near my stovetop, so I'll move it later. We got a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You can use butter or whatever oil you prefer. You throw the meat in, you cook it till it's brown. It should really truly be brown. Don't take it out when it's gray. You're gonna feel like you're burning it. You're not burning it. Let it cook until it's brown. It's gonna release some juices and some chunks into the bottom of the pan, which sounds gross, but that's a good thing. You want the bottom of your pan a little bit chunky. I take the meat out to let it rest to the side so that it will be really tender. And while I'm waiting for it to rest, I put the vegetables in. The liquid that is released from the vegetables is going to release the bits from the bottom of the pan. I also am going to use the juice that escaped from the meat while it was resting to finish picking up that process. It's called deglazing a pan. It's a fancy term for it, but that's what it is. We're gonna add the broth that I made in a previous video in just a minute, but I add this brown gravy mix because it hearties up the texture of the broth, which when you're eating stew, you want just something that feels really homey and hearty. So here's the broth that I put in. We're gonna add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, or however in the world you are supposed to say that word. Oh, look at it. It looks so good. I can't wait to eat it. I'm adding about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Yes, I use my hand. I do it all of the time. It's a habit. I'm tasting it here and realizing that I forgot a really important ingredient. It took me a while to figure out what it was that I missed. And it's diced tomatoes. I like the fire roasted ones. They add a really great flavor. Look, it looks delicious. Thanks for following along. If you have any catering needs in the Spokane area, hit me up at Catering by Jenny. Eat well, be well.